All right, everyone. Welcome back here. SportsBook Sports, all things sports betting. I'm your host, Connor, with my boy here, GA.
What's going on?
What's
Welcome
going
to another
on?
episode.
Yes, sir. Part 8 here, 100K challenge. Road to 100K or road to 0, whatever happens first.
Yep.
The way it's been looking with me, I can't pick a fucking game to save my life. But today's episode, we're going to do a little recap on the UFC night. Probably discuss a little bit of the NBA Finals game tonight, and then get right into our picks and sort of where we're at with the 100K challenge so far.
Yeah, so before we get into that, let's remind everyone to give us a like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. You're obviously watching here at SportsBook Sports. We're also on SportsBook Sports on Instagram. We're SportsBook Talks on Twitter. And, we're just mixing it up, chopping it up on there. The last couple of days we've been off because there really hasn't been anything to bet. I mean, it's crazy, but there was so much going on for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden, Euro Cup ends, Wimbledon ends, baseball takes a couple nights off for the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. Last episode we talked about the UFC stuff, so that was a great fight. We'll talk about that, or a great card. I guess the last fight was a little underwhelming with Conor breaking his ankle, but we'll talk about all that stuff like Conor said, and we'll kind of get into our picks for tonight.
Yeah.
So let's just start off with the recap. So right now we're both sitting at losing records, but at least I'm clawing back up. I know you had a rough last episode, so I'm 10-19 on the season. Bankroll sitting at about $8,700. Leaves me down about $1,200 so far, $1,300 so far this season with the 100K challenge that we're doing. Again, each starting with $10,000 and just putting our picks out there every day.
Yep.
A little bit of analysis on what we're doing. We're going to have free picks every episode, and that's really what we're here to do. Connor, you're sitting at 8-15-1, $7,600 or $7,800, sorry, and about $2,200 down right now.
Yep.
And that really just comes down to the way we're betting. You're betting much bigger units than I am.
Yep.
So you have bigger swings with your bets.
Yep.
I had a couple bad nights in a row, so I got down a little bit, but I've been clawing back. Did okay in the UFC stuff. If Conor didn't break his leg, I think I was going to go 3-0 in that. Yeah. Because I went 2 for 2 in my straight up picks, and then had Dustin Poirier to win in the second, third, or fourth. Yeah. And I mean, he was just coming out strong. He was tagging Conor all over the place. Really, I think controlling the round
right off the rip.
Yeah. So I think it would have been a win, maybe in the second or third.
Yeah.
The way it looked like it was going, I had a little bit of money on Conor just in case he kind of came out and landed a good punch. I just always think of that Altuve fight.
Yeah.
Just kind of how he just came out. I think that was like 3 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that.
What fight?
What was that? I said Altuve.
You said Altuve.
I said Altuve because I'm thinking about how bad the Yankees got.
Diaz?
No, what was the fight against the South American dude that he came out?
McGregor?
Yeah, McGregor just knocked some dude out in the first 10 seconds. The guy charged him and he caught him with a left hand, knocked him out cold. It was years ago. It was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It was when Conor was first kind of getting onto the scene.
It wasn't.
And I remember I wanted to, maybe I'm just blanking on the guy's name, and I wanted to bet the other guy. I remember this because I was at one of our friends' house. We were having a poker night. We were playing poker, and then before the fight, I was trying to put a bet in on the other guy. Yeah. And I ended up putting a bet in on Conor by accident. I think I put $300 on him. And I won $500. It was the quickest $500 I ever made. And it was just completely on accident. And
it wasn't Nate Diaz?
No, it wasn't Diaz. It was before those Diaz fights. It was he only fought him one time. Bald-headed dude.
Jose Aldo?
Aldo. Yeah, Aldo.
Yeah.
And I think that was a quick fight, if I remember correctly. I think it was a first-round knockout.
Yeah, I think it was.
And it was it was over before it started. It was one of those things where if you're not used to the fight game, if you're not used to staying up all night getting ready for a fight, and then all of a sudden it can just end in a second, that's what happened that night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Just the beauty of UFC, though.
Yeah,
it looks like it was first round knockout.
Yeah, it was quick, if I remember correctly. So I just, I had a little money on Conor just in case he found a little magic again. But I was talking bad about him in our last episode, and I just back it up even more after the way he was acting after this past fight. He's over. His career's done. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
If you want to keep buying his fights, keep buying his fights. Just make sure you bet against him to pay for the pay-per-view each time.
Yeah, fuck him.
He's totally done.
Yeah.
Made his money, did great. I mean, he's an all-time showman, obviously trash talker, but as far as it comes to fighting, I'm happy for Poirier. I think he's been stringing together a couple good fights.
Yeah, I mean, watching it was just I didn't even get to see it. I saw the highlights of it, and Poirier, I think, is obviously just better, and McGregor, all he has to him anymore is his name. He doesn't even. I thought he would at least put it together and come out. You could tell. I mean, he's working out, but he's not doing anything because his ankles shouldn't snap like that.
No, he's just old and frail.
Yeah, he's just not where he was. But speaking on the records, what I wanted to talk about with this is that if you look at both of our records, obviously both having a terrible stretch of games right now.
Yeah.
Out of our last 25 to 30 picks that we both have, well below 500 record. But the losses aren't tremendous.
Yeah.
You've been betting 250 a unit. You're only down 1,200 off 9 losses. So technically, you should really be down like 2,200.
Yep.
You've had a couple mixes here and there, and you've also lowered your units on bets that you didn't think were as you weren't as confident in those picks. And same with me.
Yeah.
I've been betting normally 500 to 1,000. I've hit a couple parlays in here, but really I should be down 3,500.
Yeah.
But I'm only down 2,100, and I think that has to do with the unit management, the bankroll management. And once you find a system, you sort of stick to it and figure out ways to, up the bet here and there. Like I thought the Bucks game the other night was going to be a lock, and the second game in Phoenix, and they honestly should have won. I thought.
Yeah.
Had a terrible third quarter, 16 points.
Yep.
The rest of the game though, they won.
Yep.
They dominated the first half for the most part, and they put together a terrible third quarter, and that threw them out of it. But I felt really good about that game. But that just goes to show, you should stick to your units, but you can also mingle around with having a system where you stick with your specific unit based on every single game. But then if there's some games where you want to press a little bit more, don't go with your full bankroll.
Yeah.
Stay within a certain percentage of what you're betting. And then also, on the other side of that, on the flip side, if there's games that you like but you're not you don't feel fully about it, put less money on it.
Yeah.
You don't need to stick to you want to stick to the same unit, but more importantly, the same range of where you're at.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you look at my UFC bets last time, I won money.
Yeah.
I went kind of 2-1 because I didn't win that Poirier fight because McGregor broke his leg. But again, I bet $250 per fight.
Yeah.
I bet the McGregor fight 5 different ways, so I had 5 $50 bets.
Yeah.
So if you look at my record, out of that, I was 2-5.
Yeah.
So you're like, shit, 2-5. This guy had a terrible night. But then if you look at my bankroll went up because I won money overall.
Yeah.
Because I just spread my risk out on the McGregor fight just because I liked it a couple different ways. I liked the way to bet it. Like I said, I think Poirier was going to win second, third, fourth, so I just found different ways to bet it and hedge it out a little bit. So, if you're new to the betting and kind of stuff like that, like Conor was talking about, it's really about find your unit that you like and try to stick to it. And to your point, if you like a bet one unit on it, but break it up if you need to. If you like the Suns and you like the under tonight, doesn't mean bet 2 units on the game. It means bet a unit on the game and split it up. Especially if you're cold, especially if you're having a tough time trying to right the ship a little bit. And that's really where I was at. To your point, I was not doing so great. So I kind of scaled it back a little bit, kind of broke up a couple bets and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of finding my groove a little bit. And now I'm getting back to the 250 bets. But then again, I have a couple golf bets tonight. I'm not going to bet $250 on a golf event or like a NASCAR event or any of those events that are just really long odds because it's very tough to win. So
and I was going to say to that point also, I think our record, is slightly slurred in a way because you were technically 0-5 on that McGregor fight, but it was only 1 unit that you bet.
Exactly.
So really, you could say you were 0-1. And the same with me because I have about 4 or 5 parlays. 3 or 4 parlays that I've lost. And I've went 1-1 on every single one of them.
Exactly.
So it counts as an L, and that's why you see our records are 10-19 and 8-15. But realistically, if I were to bet those all single like I should be, instead of being an idiot and parlaying them, and that's why we talk about that all the time, but I would have a much better, not only a bankroll, but a much better record right now too if I just stuck to single bets.
Yeah, and I just think also too, like just talking about this out loud while we're looking at it, it makes me think of like, should we put like our unit, what our units are on there? Because if you look at our record, it's one thing, but you're betting about 500 a game, I'm betting about 250 a game. So right now I'm down 5 units, you're down 4 units.
Yeah,
I think
I like the way this is because this is the most realistic, and we're not fabricating anything.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, units are units, and we could say whatever we want based on our records by it. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is how much money you're up or how much money you're down.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it matters what's in your bank account. And your
record, like I said, we're keeping it the way it is because of. We just want to be as transparent as possible with it. Yeah. But it's also because we've been betting that way. You know what I mean? And we're just keeping it that just straight up across the board. So there's no, these guys really, because like I said, I could say I'm fucking 11-13 if I counted all those single bets, even though it's still an L. Yeah. And you could do the same. Like, we could have counted that Poirier bet as one loss. And then the McGregor one was 1 loss. Yeah. And you'd be 10-15, but then you'd have people out there, like, complaining about us doing that. Yeah. And there's just no reason behind trying to fabricate it at all.
Yeah, I don't know if adding more stuff to it just made it more transparent, because there might be different ways people look at it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, your plus minus, like, what's in your bank account, what's in your bankroll is all that matters.
Exactly.
So I also don't know if it gives a little bit of insight to people that you're betting 500 a game, I'm betting 250 a game. So if we're both up $1,000, you're up 2 bets, I'm up 4 bets, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say if that'd be the case if I stuck to it, but I also just switch my units. Same. Like, I stay within a realm. Like, I either go 1, 2's the highest I'll normally bet, based off my $500 unit bet. But then I'll also go below it sometimes for like parlays and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you if you had a good day and you have a little money left over, it's like you might just bet whatever's left over on some long shot thing.
Exactly.
All right, so speaking of long shots, let's look at our picks tonight. I mean, we got the NBA Finals tonight, Game 4. Suns are up 2-1 right now. Yep. I'm confident in the Suns tonight, and I don't know if I'm crazy. It seems like a lot of people are betting the Bucks. The Bucks are the favorite right now. But I don't know. The Suns are 3-0 right now in Game 4 so far in the playoffs. I like that little tidbit of information.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat.
I think the Suns, if you look at it too, it's like Chris Paul's lost 9 straight or 11 straight. I forget what it was when like the Scott Foster's reffing games. Yeah. And he ref last game. They end up losing by a zillion. Yeah. So I think they come back out. I think it gets back to kind of where the first 2 games were that were much closer. Yeah. So I'm actually going alternate line parlay. So again, if you go to FanDuel, you click on the game. There's more bets or more wagers, I believe is the language that they have underneath the game. Mm-hmm. And then you can look at really everything that they have there. So again, you go to NBA, on the bottom right is more wagers. And then I choose alternate spreads, and it gives you a drop down. You click show more, and it has everything from the Suns.
Is that showing on the screen right now?
Nah, it shows plus 26 all the way to minus 26, 27. So Jesus. I kind of just went in there. I found a good range. I think there's some good value in some of these spreads, but do you think the spread's going to be 3 or 4 points tonight? I think it's going to go the other way. So I have the Suns actually minus 3.5. Okay. And that's, again, to your point, I'm scaling it down a little bit because it is a little bit farther long parlay or, farther odds, harder to hit. Yep. And I have a couple of hockey or golf bets too. Mm-hmm. So I'm scaling it back to $150. That $150 wins me $333. Yep. And like I said, I just think they're going to come out strong tonight. I think they're going to bounce back. I also have the future going still on the Suns to win in 6. Okay. So that's looking pretty good right now. I'm not sure. Based on that, I don't know who I want to win tonight. Because right now it's 2-1. So if the Bucks win tonight, then the Suns have to win out. Yep. Which kind of makes me a little nervous. But then if the Suns win tonight, they go up 3-1. It's like, fuck, I need the Bucks to win one here. Now they're going back to Phoenix. Yeah. Either way, though, so I have that future out there. Suns minus 3.5 tonight. And I know you got a bet on the over-under.
Yeah, I'm taking the under tonight. I've seen a lot of people are on the over. Yep. I think they've seen the pace of these games. the last couple nights, they've obviously both teams like to run up and down. I think that's going to change just a little bit tonight. I think the Bucks are going to try to slow it down just a little bit more. Not necessarily like the pace that they're playing, but they're going to just take a little bit more time to get shots.
Yeah, a couple seconds on every shot clock adds up at the end of the game.
Exactly. And I think what I think is going to happen, that the teams just aren't going to be playing at the efficiency they've been, so they're going to be missing more shots. It's more competitive. Obviously, you're getting into the later of the series where it's like do or die.
Yeah.
And the Bucks, I think they feel they need to win one, and if they're going to win tonight or have a chance at winning, they need to keep the game lower scoring.
Yeah.
They can't keep up with the Suns points-wise.
Yeah, I think after the second game, too, it was pretty clear, like, obviously Giannis had a great night, but then it was like, Drew Holiday and Middleton didn't really have the best nights. Then in game 3, you see them play a lot better, hit a couple more shots. I think they shot combined, 50% from the field. So, yeah, like you said, it's a big 3 versus a big 3. Whose big 3 is going to show up tonight? Booker really didn't show up in game 3.
Or is Scott Foster going to show up and get dudes in foul trouble?
Yeah.
That's the difference right there.
That is the difference. So, yeah, I just think it's going to be a good game tonight. Like I said, I think the Suns are going to win, but I do like the under. I think that it's kind of a change of pace game where it slows down a little bit, gets a little more serious. We're into the series now. We're, game 4. We're at the halfway point.
Yeah.
And to your point, I like that bet too. And then we also have 2 golf bets. We got a tournament coming up this weekend. You know the name of the tournament?
The Open.
The Open, right?
Yep.
So, I just got 2 bets. I got Koepka to win outright. That's $50 to win $800. I pretty much just bet him, especially when it's a big tournament like this. I bet him. I throw $50, $100 on him every time. I just think he's a big game guy. He shows up when it counts.
Yep.
And last tournament, he was doing pretty good. Last big tournament, he was doing pretty good. It kind of fell apart at the end. And then, I don't even know how to say this guy's name, but something. I don't know.
It's picking dudes that you can't fucking say their name.
I just love the double O to start the name.
Yeah,
I just think that's just so
Where the
wild.
fuck's that guy from?
South Africa, I believe. And
so is Garrett Hygo.
Okay, so we got South Africans all over the place. I could be sounding like a complete idiot right now that he's not from there. But I was watching him in the tournament that we had.
Garrett Hygo is 100% South African.
Yeah.
How do you spell this dude's last name?
Oh my God, I wish I knew. OOSTHUIZEN. And
Lewis?
Yep.
Let's see, where Lewis is South African as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. And what was the tournament that we had that you had what was it? Bubba Watson in, where Bubba Watson was in
Travelers.
Travelers, yeah. So I think he was playing
Fucking
pretty
blew
good
it.
in that. Yeah, I think Uzenthal, whatever his name is, was playing pretty good in that. I like him. One of the stats I liked about him was why I'm picking him out.
Fuck Bubba Watson.
Plus he's plus 3,000. Yeah, I mean he fell apart like you can't believe at the Travelers.
Costing me
plus 3,000 odds is great. And there was a crazy stat out there, but it's like in the last 6 majors or something like that, he's like come in like the top 3 like 4 times or something like that. So he's a big runner-up guy. He's usually in it in the last day.
Take him top 5 too.
Yeah, I might look at that then. But I think he's got a shot to be there at the end. If I get both these guys at the end, I'll feel pretty confident. Yeah. And then I'll be hedging that out. Obviously, we'll have more picks. We'll talk about that as the week goes on.
Yep.
And then you got your boy Hygo.
I actually don't know if I pronounced
South
that right.
African.
Garrett
So we're in the big South African podcast.
Yeah, he's young, big South African supporters.
Yep.
I don't
know if that's problematic or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I honestly don't know.
When it comes to golf.
Yeah, it's cool. It's at least, I fuck with this guy. He played.
Yep.
I really like him. He's young. He's 21 or 22. Played golf at UNLV, so he's probably a big degenerate.
Yep.
I bet you he's hammering himself to make the cut.
Especially when you come over here from another country and you pick your college and it's like, let's go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, and he's got like a crazy story if I remember hearing it correctly. Like his father passed away at a young age, like maybe even both of his parents.
Okay.
And he's just, he's making his way through. Could be completely wrong on that too. It could be another guy that I heard.
Yeah, but your bet's interesting too because your bet is just to make the cut.
Yeah, just to make the cut. Like I said, he played well in a tournament a couple weeks ago. I actually won it because some other guy fluked.
Yeah.
But then he played in the U.S. Open, didn't make the cut there, and I was going to bet him that weekend, and he just didn't come out. He played well the first day, and then the next two he just didn't put it together like he could. So I like him making the cut for this one. And yes, his father did pass away in a car crash when he was 9.
Okay.
That's what I read. That's what I heard about him. But yeah, dude went to UNLV. He's 22. Has a smooth stroke. I think he can make the cut in this tournament, especially if he puts it together. And I expect big things from him.
Yeah,
in
the
the
odds
future.
aren't too bad too. Minus 144 just to make the cut.
No, I think they're anticipating him making the cut.
Yeah.
Like the way Vegas is looking at it, I think he's got a good shot at doing it. So
Yeah, again, it's $500 to win $347.
let's go, Hygo. Come on, kid.
Those are our picks for tonight.
Yeah.
Good luck to everyone betting the NBA.
Yep, NBA should be a good matchup. I think next episode we're going to do some MLB stuff, talk about the futures that we have. Maybe we'll bring that on the episode tomorrow.
Yeah.
Talk about a couple of our picks for.
We can talk MLB futures. I started looking at the way too early NFL futures.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for FanDuel to update their site.
I got a couple Heisman picks too.
Okay.
For when that shit drops. I mean, they already have the odds out for those, but once we bring that episode live, I can't wait to discuss those because there's some good value in some Heismans this year that I think are some good picks.
Yeah, so I think we'll try to end of July, early August. I think sounds like a good enough time to start getting into the football talk.
Yep.
We'll talk tomorrow about baseball and our futures for the rest of the year. Now the back half of the year is starting up.
Yep.
Definitely going to be some long odds there. Obviously, it's tough to win them, but if you put a good bet in now, get some good odds now,
yep.
then there'll be opportunities to hedge it out later on if you want, or just ride it out.
Yep. So yeah, another good episode, the 100K challenge. We're gonna keep riding this thing out as long as we can until we're at 0 or until we're at 100 bands.
Yeah, again, SportsBook Sports on Instagram and YouTube. SportsBook Talks on Twitter.
Yep. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next episode.